the lady there?
Coke Zero instead of Diet Coke. That's the same stuff. Get that away from it.
Alerts, okay.
You keep kidding.
What's that?
No, we're trying.
Oh, probably, yeah, yeah. Oh, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just have to be reasonable
What time is it?
and bend the rules a little bit. I know that, then other people will be there asking about rules.
Yeah, the address was on the drive.
I'm sympathetic. If I got a water bill of that many, that much money.
Playing golf.
I said, or you could just go to the car dealership and look at how much a new car costs. They called me from Toyota. They said, listen, we have this great new, brand new Tacoma 2024. Yours is 2 years old now? I said, yeah.
So my buddy was texting back, hey man, how about these, what are the greens fees? I said, oh, they're
Thank
about
you so much, but I'm not
170.
interested.
And he goes, oh, okay, all right, I can swing that. I $44 green
Said,
fees.
fine, I'll pay for it. I don't need
That includes the car.
Has
It's like
14,000 miles on it in 2.5 years, so. Yeah, I don't drive it.
We'll be lucky.
Yeah, so.
I mean,
I know, really, and it's a Toyota, it'll last for a long time.
kind of got over bed. Last year there was 8 of us. We were in there about 3.5 hours.
Your son's friends?
It's looking quite good today.
And then 2 of my friends bring their dads. And so it's a big group.
Yeah.
But we were in there about 2 hours, 8 of us, and we spent $200. $2 draft beers, hot dogs, and chips, and this fun.
Right up until then.
How long will you be there?
So I'll leave there Sunday and go to Rock Hill for my job.
Who's gonna be late?
It's 2 o'clock, so I'll call the commission meeting for Thursday, March 21st to order. Would everyone please stand? I'm going to ask Commissioner Neal to lead us in the blessing and prayer, and Commissioner Ford to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me, please. Father, we just thank you for your goodness and your grace. We just thank you for allowing us the opportunity to serve our community. We pray for all the employees of Joint Water and Sewer. We pray for our first responders and their dedication to keeping our community safe. Also, I'd like to pray for our military and ask for your safety over that. We just ask that you would guide us as we deliberate and consider the business of Joint Water and Sewer today, and guide and direct our path, and we'll give you the honor and glory for it. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have someone for public comment?
Yes, sir. We have 2 public comments. The first one is Ms. Penny Hennessy, and she'll be discussing water alerts with you. Brenda, if you would please.
What's your name?
Penny Hennessy. Thank y'all for letting me speak today. I live on St. Simon's, and I had a slab leak under my house.
Oh, my.
And y'all can all go, oh no, that's awful, because it is awful. What I wanted to speak to y'all about is your software that monitors water flow. This crack under my house started around Christmas time. I found out about it in late February. 8,000 gallons a day, which fills up my neighbor's swimming pool every 3 days. That's a lot of water. that went nowhere. It just drilled a hole right under my house and just kept going. 8,000 gallons a day. I found out about it in late February, got it fixed in early March. But that is a lot of wasted water. Computer systems can do anything you want them to do. And I know they monitor our water usage in a computer. My request is that y'all talk to the IT department that looks after y'all's programs and set up an alert system so that I could have found out about this leak in early January. Because it's on the bill, you may have a leak, but I didn't get that bill until late February. If I had found out about it in early January or mid-January, I could have gotten it fixed within a week, and 6 weeks worth of water would not have been wasted. So my request is that y'all take a look at that. Y'all know how to find us. You have our emails, you have our phone numbers. You certainly have our street addresses. You could mail us a letter. And tell us when we have extraordinary water usage happening at our locations. And that would certainly help me negotiate what is going to be an incredible bill, but it also would have saved an awful lot of water that went nowhere except a hole under my house.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
We have put in new meters in LaDonna. Is LaDonna back there?
Mr. Burrows has the information if you'd like to speak to the situation.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So the way we do notify with this new system, we do send out text alerts and email alerts if we have a cell phone number and a email address on file. So if you can make sure going forward, you can get with our customer service staff and make sure they have up-to-date information. The next time it happens, we do get alerts from our system that tells us when there's 24 hours of consecutive uses. And then usually within 2 or 3 days, we'll notify you by either email or text message or phone call about the continuous usage if we have the up-to-date information. So if you can just stop by and customer service, we'll be happy to make sure that happens.
I did that this morning.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. But certainly understand your concern, and yes, that is something we are working to get all that information updated for all of our customers so that we can shorten that time frame down. Yes, ma'am.
Has the leak been fixed?
Yes.
The leak has
Okay.
been fixed now. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hennessy. We have another comment?
Yes, sir. The second is Brenda Lawrence, and she would like to speak to you about water lines that are needed in the Arco area to her home.
Ms. Lawrence?
Todd, could you pull up GIS on this while Ms. Lawrence is making her public comments?
I'm gonna pull up mapping here.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Fine.
well.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Brenda Lawrence. I live here in Brunswick, Georgia all my life. I live at 155 Track Street. That's between Community Road and Lakewood and Track Street, right up under the bridge. My home has been there for quite some years. And I've had people come out and dig the septic tank for the water. It's very rusty. My water shoots out rust. It shoots out black oil, dirt. It destroys everything in the house. Everything rusts out. All our clothes turn from white, beige, or to gold. I've had them come out and test my water. They said it had E. coli, rust, all different other kind of names I can't remember. I had to go into the hospital some years back for cancer. We was told that the water was so bad that we shouldn't even drink the water. We shouldn't even take a bath with the water. And I haven't been able to get any kind of help. Also, my main concern is that where I live at on Track Street, I'm right in front of the railroad track. Now, if the house caught a fire right now, there's no water pipes, nothing near where we live at. And we're trying to find a way for you all, if y'all can help us, get a line to run from. The closest one is on Lakewood. And I tried to talk with some residents in my area to see if they would approve to have a line run to connect so that we can get a water line on Track Street on our road. So far, it's only 2 residents and the city department, I think it is, the county department, on that road, but they have a water line right there at this lady's house, Miss Gray, and the city department. Those are the only water lines. I'm concerned about our health. I'm on medication for itching because we have to bathe in the water. I spent $1,000 for a water filter. It cost me a lot of money buying ice, whatever you call it, to put in the machine, and eventually it caught a fire and got melted up. I'm now disabled. My 2 children were born disabled, and we are in very need of some water, not just to save our lives, but to help us with our health, because they say it's very damaging to our health. My children's disability, they can't brush their teeth without swallowing that water. We all have problems with our stomachs, back and forth in the emergency room, this and that, because of this water. So I'm asking y'all, if y'all can find it in your heart, to please help me and us get a water line there so that we can be safe if the house catch a fire, and also for our health.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the problem with the water, and that's a
Yes.
private well, isn't it? Is that right, Todd?
Yes, it is.
And how close is the closest water line to it? Can you show us on the map?
About 600 feet away.
600 feet away. And how many other houses are like that on private wells in that area?
All of them has the private wells in that area.
So nobody on that street has water?
You got the city public works office, and I believe one house
About 2-3 lots down.
that has water. So on the map right there, you can see that area is bordered, one of those areas is bordered on 3 sides by the railroad tracks.
Point to where Miss Lawrence
So
lives.
Miss Lawrence's house here is at 155 Track Street,
Okay.
right? And then our water line comes down, here's the city's Public Works Administrative Office. Water line right now extends to this point here with a fire hydrant there. So
And
it's
what
about
about,
550 feet.
and all the people below her don't have water either?
That's correct.
That's correct.
So, with the SPOS referendum that was passed, one of the uses for that funds for joint water and sewer was to extend water and sewer lines. This neighborhood is the first neighborhood we're going to do with water and sewer access with that money, because we have a lot of customers or citizens that are having failing wells and things like that out there, failing septic tanks. And so this was always planned to be the first neighborhood that we do with that. Now, what we may do in the short term is run a temporary water line until we can get the project engineered and fully bid out.
Could we have a change order with the contractor over in Arco to put that water line in?
That's one of the things we're looking at, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll give anything if we can have some city water.
Yeah.
Anything to have some good drinking water. I can't even cook with the water. I have to buy plenty of water just to even cook our foods and stuff with.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Y'all have a
Thank you.
blessed day.
What would be a probable timeline, Andrew?
Well, if we can run a temporary line, you're not looking at too long, just gotta get the materials here and things like that, we can get that installed. But to do the full project, design and construction, I don't know when exactly they would be able to run. We could prioritize that portion of the neighborhood first, but you're looking at, quite a few months by the time you go through engineering design to get that completed.
Is that gonna be in the railroad right away?
If
Yes,
we went down Track Street, it would be, yes.
Right, so what we would have to do most likely is come down Lakewood, and then work to help acquire, access across to the houses on Track Street, because the actual Track Street road would be in the railroad right away. That's going to take at least a year to get permitting to put that in the railroad right away.
You understand what he's saying about that?
It's gonna take a year.
No. He's just to run the water line down Track Street. Track Street's in the railroad right away, and so you have to get a permit from the railroad. Those are very expensive and hard to get when you're paralleling the railroad.
So Todd, would you show what we're
So
talking
we
about?
might have to come across the railroad to serve. Is that correct, Todd?
We would come down,
So, correct. We could come down Track Street, and of course, there's the hurdle with the railroad right-of-way. We could also extend down Lakewood, but then that would require an easement across private property. Her home basically fronts on Track Street. This home here fronts on Lakewood.
Do we have water in Lakewood now, down right across from her house?
There's water right here, right now down Lakewood.
So there's several people on Lakewood don't have water too then.
That's
looks like.
correct.
Oh, yeah, all those people.
Everybody down Lakewood.
That's what I said, all those neighbors in there are on private wells and septic tanks, and that's
Well, we
why-
need to do a study about looking at that.
That's why it's gonna be the first neighborhood we do on
Right.
Risk Blossom.
Okay.
Yes.
Your other neighbors have problems with their water also?
They do, yes. I don't know if theirs is as bad as mine. I don't know if mine has something to do with pipes and lines or whatever. I've had some pipes, changed under the house, but my house, my water, I'm telling you, it is ridiculous. I can't afford to move.
No, I understand.
So, I'm stuck where I am, but
So if we run
that's the need of city water.
Right, if we run a temporary line, that would not provide fire protection, because it would be a
Right.
2-inch line out there to get drinking water purposes. It would take longer to get the 8-inch line with hydrants and everything like that installed, so I've talked to staff, talked to Derek about potentially running a temporary 2-inch service down there. Cause right now, there's not a lot of usage on that 8-inch line, so we actually have a flush meter on that hydrant because it needs usage on it anyway. So we can easily push that down to a 2-inch and then bring that down temporarily until we get the
Okay.
project done.
Ms. Lawrence, we appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and we'll be taking care of it.
Thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it very much.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Do we have any other public comment?
Let them know that they can leave if they want to.
Yes, and y'all free to leave.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a.
And Ms. Henderson, you're free to leave too if you want to. I don't think she heard me. Next item is employee recognition, LaDonna Roberts. Is this her second certificate she's
Well,
got?
real quick before we leave, we have another employee that's walking out the door right now, Mr. Ransom. Next week is his 40th anniversary working for
Oh,
Joint Water
awesome.
and Sewer. So,
Congratulations.
40th anniversary. So.
Is anybody younger than 40 in this group?
Right.
LaDonna?
All right.
This is her second certificate.
This is her first certificate. She's working on her second.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'm pleased to present this certificate. It says Board of Examiners for certification of water and wastewater treatment plant operators and laboratory analysts certifies that LaDonna Swift Roberts has satisfactorily passed the necessary qualifications as required by the state of Georgia and is duly certified as a water operator class 3 in the state of Georgia. 21st day of March 2024. Congratulations. She's our assistant director, and that's time for us to start getting a wastewater certification.
Well, we had a conversation, and Ms. LaDonna's gonna focus on the water operator's license, and I'm gonna focus on the wastewater operator's license, and then we'll cross-train.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Chairman, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I do, if I may, just want to say a couple of words of thanks to some individuals. First of all, thank you to Mr. Burrows for challenging me. I'm sure the commission is aware that he sends out a newsletter every Friday, and in one of his Friday newsletters, he challenged us as staff. He said, go do something new, learn something within your organization that's different to you, talk to your supervisor about it, and get their support. So I took him at his word, and I said, okay, I'm interested in doing this. Well, not only did he have that goal for the year, but he also wanted to get 12 new licenses within the organization. So I said, you know what, I'd love to be one of those 12. So thanks to Mr. Donnie Bankston and his team who pitched in and gave me on-the-job training and were willing to give it their time and resources. I certainly appreciate everyone involved. Thank you, Chairman.
We did have a main break that had to be sampled the other day, and she was the closest operator to the job, so we sent her out there to get the sample.
Has she removed any of those galvanized lines out there?
We're gonna get to work on that next.
We love to give certification certificates out. Committee updates. Yesterday, we had a facilities committee meeting. At that meeting, we went over several projects that we approved for award to be submitted to the full commission. One was Academy Creek RASUV upgrades, and the other was Academy Creek RASUV construction phase services. The Highway 17 North Pump Station, which is at Golden Shores. The Pump Station 4105 and 4107 force main improvements. Palm Drive water main improvements. And the Pump Station 2001, 2002, and 2033 and 2034 equipment purchase. Andrew will be summarizing these in a few minutes, but they were approved by both the Facilities and the Finance Committee yesterday. And then we approved some equipment purchase and a lease agreement with the FAA for the Canal Road Water Production Facility, which is presently under construction. We then approved 3 dedications of easements and infrastructure. We had a good water production report. We found out that our water system, now since we looped some water lines, is circulating a little bit different. We're getting more use from some wells and less use from other wells, but we want to keep the water circulating within our system. It's always good to hear about that, and have it coming from 2 different directions. Next thing we learned was in the water pollution control plant flows, everything was pretty much in compliance with the exception of ammonia at the Academy Creek plant. And that's a solids issue that once they get the aeration basins, the grid out of the aeration basins, they should be able to get that under control. And also when they can start wasting a little bit more sludge. But I think Andrew feels comfortable that they will be getting it back in conformance pretty soon. There's a possibility we will be getting a consent order from the EPD, and we'll be addressing that consent order if necessary. And we had a capital project report, which was had some good photos of different projects. And we're just moving along, and with this new work, we'll have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll move to the approval section of the meeting. First item is minutes from the February 15th, 2024 commission meeting. Can I
I'll
have a
move
motion?
to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Second is the minutes from the February 15th, 2024 executive session.
I'll again move to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion second, all in favor, indicate. Motion carries 7-0. Item 3 is property liability insurance renewal. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. I also have Mr. Fred McGinty from Oak Bridge Insurance here to answer specific questions about this insurance package. Traditionally, all of our liability and property coverage has been considered at the March meeting. Last year, we asked for a 30-day extension on our property insurance, so that will be brought before you at the April meeting. So what we have for you today is liability, crime, cyber liability, and an equipment floater. We are changing providers for the liability package, but luckily with some changes that we have made on the cyber side and things like that, we were able to get some slight reductions, and so the overall increase in the liability package is 1.7% or $2,895.24. At yesterday's Finance Committee meeting, Mr. McGinty went through some options we're looking for at the property insurance to bring for you at the April meeting, as we were originally projected to have a substantial increase in that. But luckily on the liability, we were able to change providers and stave off a substantial increase. So thank you to Mr. McGinty for working hard on getting these numbers where they're a little more palatable for us.
Can I have a motion?
Well, yes, sir. I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve insurance renewal rates for each coverage category and insurer is listed in the attached 2024 liability insurance premium summary.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to thank Mr. McGinty for his work in searching and finding the good rates for us, and we appreciate your efforts on that.
Any others? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. McGinty. Next item is item 4 is Synovus banking resolution. Mr. Owens.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
This is really a simple housekeeping item. Nothing is changing with regard to our banking and investment and merchant services or costs related to those services. We are merely needing to update our signature cards for the new vice chairman that we have in our commission, Mr. Watson. So at this time, the staff is recommending that the full commission approve the chairman, vice chair, executive director, deputy executive director, and director of finance be authorized as signatories for all of our banking, investment, and merchant services, and to sign the necessary documents.
Can I have a motion?
I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the BGJWSC Chairman, Vice Chair, Executive Director, Deputy Executive Director, and Director of Finance be authorized as signatories for the banking, investment, and merchant services, and to sign the necessary signature cards.
Second? Second. Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Owens.
Thank you.
Next item is contract award financial auditing services. Mr. Owens?
Yes. On January 25th of this year, we issued a RFP number 24-007 for our audit services for the audit this year, with optional renewals for the 2 following years. Our previous contract, the final option was exercised this past year, fiscal year 2023. We received 3 proposals from Rushton LLC, CKH CPAs and Advisors LLC, and Malden and Jenkins Certified Public Accountants. After reviewing all of the proposals, categorizing and scoring them using an evaluation matrix, an internal panel of 3 persons unanimously decided to award the new contract to Malden and Jenkins. And so at this time, the staff recommends that the commission approve engaging the audit firm of Malden and Jenkins to perform the financial audit for the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, for $24,900, along with 2 one-year options as follows. Option year 1 for $25,400, and option year 2 at $25,900. And this was approved by the Finance Commission in yesterday's meeting.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that with the
Second the motion.
Motion second. Any questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next item is contract award, Academy Creek RES and UV upgrades. Mr.
Yeah.
Burris?
So after that long motion, we're gonna talk about 2 hours on wastewater treatment plants. But no, we bid out in February a project that is actually 2 separate funded projects. We bid out together for RAS and UV upgrades. RAS controls solids at the plant and recirculates them throughout the plant, and a UV upgrade to eliminate the gaseous chlorine disinfection system and replace it with a UV disinfection system. Those bids came back in February and were quite high. We brought that to the board and looked for potential value engineering options. Talked with the low bidder, Reeves Young, and they were able to find reductions in the amount of $326,000 for this work. So the total cost of the work that is being recommended is $5,534,000 for installation of new RAS pumps, and VFDs, and a new electrical system for those pumps, and the installation of a UV disinfection system to replace the gaseous chlorine system. I'll be happy to go into whatever amount of detail y'all would like on these projects.
Can I have a motion?
This was approved by the Facilities and Finance Committee yesterday.
I'll move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission award a contract to Reeves Young LLC for the construction of the Academy Creek RAS and UV upgrades in the amount of $5,534,000.
A second? Are there any questions? I have one comment. We need to also state that we're adding the metal canopy over the UV
Yes,
system.
as the additive alternate, yes,
And
sir.
that's an additive alternate of how much?
$80,000.
Yeah, but that's included in the,
That's included in the 5.534.
and that's really for UV. Otherwise, you might get bacteria in there and things.
Get
like
algae
that.
growth and things like
growth.
that, wraps around the bulbs, and then you end up having to clean the bulbs all the time.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Andrew. Next item is contract award, Academy Creek RAS and UV upgrades, construction phase services.
Yes, sir. With the work that we just talked about to install this new equipment, we have, those were designed by consulting partner Goodwin Mills Kaywood. This item before you is for the construction phase services, which is for submittal review, ongoing construction RFI responses, and pay application reviews, and also to perform construction inspections of the installation of the work. The value engineering options did reduce the amount of time the contractor will be on site. It's a 300-day contract, and so Goodwin Mills Kaywood has set forth a proposal for $269,000 to perform construction administration and inspection services for this project. As discussed at the Facilities Committee meeting yesterday, we will be trying to pair some of our inspectors with the inspectors from Goodwin Mills Kaywood to get them to be shown the ropes on some of these larger plant installation projects.
Do I have a motion?
I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission award a contract to Goodwin Mills and Kaywood for construction administration and inspection services for the Academy Creek RAS and UV upgrades in the amount of $269,000.
Motion and second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next item is the contract award, Highway 17 North Pump Station.
Yes, sir. So 2 years ago, Georgia DOT was discussing letting a contract to widen Highway 17. And at that time, it was determined that there was a private pump station with a force main that ran in the Highway 17 right-of-way. Now, these photos here are not updated, but there are no trees remaining on the Highway 17 right-of-way right now. So Glynn County and the DOT asked us to get involved to relocate that force main out of the way so that they can move forward with the Highway 17 widening project. Glynn County Board of Commissioners purchased the materials, and Joint Water and Sewer staff installed them. As a part of that, we started looking at the ongoing condition of the water and sewer systems out there, and the board decided to accept the existing water and sewer systems from the mobile home park in order to acquire properties for the building of a more regional lift station to serve areas adjacent and across Highway 17. In-house design occurred, and through this in-house design, we now have a completed design and bid award recommendation to Popco Inc. to build a new pump station on Highway 17 North to open capacity up for sewer services along Highway 17 in the amount of $1,172,044.78. And unlike the last project,
One comment on this is that this also will give us the capability of maybe expanding some other
Right.
residents in the
yeah,
area.
the adjacent mobile home park is looking at expanding their park, and they need sewer access. And then we discussed running pipes underneath Highway 17 to get to the east side of 17 to provide sewer access.
All right.
Has GDOT worked with us on that? Is that in the process of?
It is not in the process. We worked with the GDOT contractor and got quotes on installing some pipes across there that were a little out.
In Golden Shore.
So what you're saying is those sewer lines are just now hitting their prime?
That was about 20 years ago, Bob?
I wish it were only
Next item on the agenda is Palm Drive, no, Pump Station 4105, 4107, force main improvements, Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. Pump Station 4105 and 4107 serve the North Mainland District in the residential areas adjacent to Exit 38. There are two large development projects that were coming in at the same time. The Bergen Woods development adjusts the head pressure that the pumps have to pump against. And also on 4105, the current force main comes down, turns at Haltala, and goes underneath the interstate and follows all the way back down to Glendale, and Daylight's at a manhole adjacent to Rich CPAC. Instead of replacing that much force main, what we're going to do is reroute that force main down to Crispin Boulevard in front of the Eagle Point Apartments, so fully paid their tap fees in advance. So this is all being paid for by new development capital improvement fees.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission award a contract to TB Landmark Construction, Inc. for the construction of Pump Station 4105 and 4107 force main improvements in the amount of $2,325,582.
Second.
Motion second. Any comments or questions? I want to add that existing force main that is going to stay in service because there's another pump station that serves it.
There's another downstream pump stations that manifolds in, so we'll be valving this off so that if anything ever happens with the new force main, we can use the old force main and be right back in service.
Right. But so
So-
we're not just throwing away.
Not just throwing away good pipes, that's right.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next item is Palm Drive Water Main Improvements, Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. Palm Drive is the middle entrance into Sea Palms East on St. Simon's Island. We're transferred money from SPLOST 5 from Glynn County for water improvements in Sea Palms. Based on modeling and staff evaluation, the most effective way to use those funds was to increase the entrance services into Sea Palms. We have done the one on Colonial a couple of years ago, and the one at North Windward will be done as part of a cooperative project with a private development that is going in, leaving Palm Drive as the remaining one. So what we'll be doing is just changing the existing 6-inch inlet from Frederica across into Palm Drive to a 12-inch main. We did get 3 bids. The low bid contacted us and after reviewing the bids and that they were unaware that this work had to be completed at night and respectfully asked to retract their bid. So this is technically being recommended for award to the second low bidder, TB Landmark Construction, in the amount of $244,542. So there's not sufficient remaining SPLOST 5 funds, but the remaining $103,650 will be night work only.
It's going to be some road closures on Frederica?
The single lane closure is what they did last time. Try to keep one lane open. Typically, the work would occur between, say, 10 o'clock and 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
And we'll be putting out public notices?
Public
on that.
notices, signboards, we'll get as much of the word out as we possibly can.
And will we need any assistance from the police department or the
Well, they'll be notified if they want to assist with that with some sort of,
contractor can
yeah,
handle?
they can handle that. And so they'll have a traffic control contractor subbing to work to them under this.
Okay.
Theoretically is eliminate risk on the contractor. We'll take on a little more risk, but we'll have all the materials here and should significantly reduce the cost to complete these projects. There's multiple purchases here that we'll handle all at one time. Bypass pumping, we'll be renting bypass pumps. There'll be 2 bypass pumps set up at each station in case of failure of the first pump. That'll be from Hydra Service, Inc. Pump stations 2033 and 2034 need 3-phase power improvements. That has to be done through Georgia Power. We'll be buying high voltage and low voltage panels from Power and Pumps, VFDs and an electrical panel air gap from Goforth Williamson, and miscellaneous electrical parts from World Electric. In your digital package, there are 80 pages of quotes, but we did not print all those out for you. If you'd like a copy, I can get one for you. But this is total single purchase cost for 33 and 34 is $110,512.90. And for 2001, 2002 is $76,459.10. The difference in those costs is the Georgia Power cost for 2033 and 2034.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the purchases from Hydra Service, Inc., Georgia Power, Power and Pumps, Goforth Williamson, and World Electric as shown for the rehab of pump stations 2001, 2002, 2033, and 2034.
A second. Any questions or comments? I would like to commend one of my employees, David, what's his name?
David Grantham.
David Grantham. He's a real sharp fella, and he's the one who came up with the idea of doing this, and it's going to save us a lot of money. So we like to have employees like that.
Yes, always good when you have staff members with great ideas.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Next item is a lease agreement, Canal Road Water Production Facility. Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. Out on Canal Road or Harry Driggers now, there is a existing fire well site that's being converted over under construction by Reeves Young to a water production facility. In order to do that, we needed to acquire a 100 by 110 parcel adjacent to our existing well site from the Airport Commission. The Airport Commission, my understanding is the Airport Commission and Glynn County are currently in the process of doing a property swap for the rerouting of Harry Drigger as part of the new roundabout project out there. And so while all that's going on, that will all require FAA approval, which will take approximately a year to receive. So rather than hold up the project for a year, what we're doing is entering into a lease agreement with the Airport Commission to lease that 100 by 110 piece from them for, let's see, get down here, $577.50 per month. It is technically, if the purchase falls through and the swap falls through, it is a 25-year lease, but we do not expect to be leasing this for the next 25 years. It's just getting the project moving while we're waiting on the paperwork through the FAA.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents to approve funding for leasing the property from the Glynn County Airport Commission for the Canal Road Water Production Facility.
I'll second the motion.
For the commission meeting. We do anticipate, everything's going well, we do anticipate it for next month's meeting. There are 3 remaining items on here. These are easement and infrastructure dedications. First one is Autumn's Wood Phase 3B. Private development off of State Route 99. Water line, as far as water line, a little over 2,000 linear feet of 8-inch new water line, in appurtenances, fire hydrants, et cetera. And a little under 3,000 linear feet of gravity sewer manholes and services. And we always like to point out that this will introduce 49 new single-family residential lots, customers, to the joint water and sewer system. And that is infrastructure installed, and the board wishes to accept, dedicated by private development. Next item is plantation at Golden Isles. This is something a little bit different than what we normally see. This is easement abandonment, and in this case, the easiest mechanism for us to do is a quit claim. A little explanation of what this is. Plantation of Golden Isles, again, north of 99, off Golden Isles Parkway Extension. Development, or in the early planning phases of that extension of that roadway, an easement was already pre-platted by Glynn County back in the day. That easement is no longer needed, and actually runs through the back of 5 residential lots. The homeowners, we were alerted by this because one homeowner applied for a pool permit. When we reviewed the pool permit, we found that we had an easement in their backyard prohibiting them from constructing a pool there. So this helps clean things up for the private property owners. It's an easement that's no longer necessary for our purposes. The water line is already installed in the Buckingham, which is inside the subdivision now. Mechanism for this, advised by legal counsel, is a quit claim. Spear storage is number 3 we talked about before. That one is to be deferred to the next meeting. Last item, number 4, Merritt Place, Phase 3, off Yarnell Drive. This is dedication of a little over 1,000 feet of water main, 8-inch PVC water main and fire hydrants, and a little over 2,000 linear feet of 4-inch PVC force main. The force main will be, it's only the portion within the public right-of-way. Everything within private right-of-way within the subdivision will remain privately owned and maintained. In this infrastructure and this development, this phase of that development will introduce 17 new single-family residential lots or customers.
Any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Abstention. Next thing on the agenda is Executive Director's update.
The Chamber of Commerce Grits and Issues breakfast that is typically in December but had to be rescheduled this year because of the emergency legislative session has been rescheduled for the 11th of April. We do have a table at that. Please let us know if you would like to attend. It is on Jekyll Island, Thursday morning, April the 11th. The other thing I would like to say is thank you to the commission for some long meetings yesterday, but we were able to get a lot of good work done, and this is going to move our utility forward. So thank you for your support on these items.
Thank you. Any commissioners have anything you want to say or discuss?
I have,
If this works out, that's one item that we have, we're acting as a GC. Is there a way that if it does work out, that he doesn't have to come back to the full commission for approval of any of the items that are included within the overall amount?
What's the
Current rules are anything that's more than $25,000 worth of award has to come to you. So unless we wanted to make a whole lot of small purchases, unfortunately, $25,000 doesn't buy a whole lot today in our business. traditionally, we have brought anything over 25,000 to the board for consideration.
So we couldn't approve the project overall based upon the estimate. It has to be based upon the actual work done.
With their estimates that we got, and their estimate from vendors, and that's who we're gonna be purchasing the stuff from, and that's what they're gonna be selling it to us for, right?
I think what you're saying is if we have a budget of 1.4 million and we're gonna GC it, instead of bringing 30,000 here, 40,000 next month, could you just approve us until we get to that dollar value to not have to bring it back to you?
Or possibly a small.
Yeah, some dollar value.
We used to do these NTE projects like this, and the problem is if you have to keep coming back to the full commission, you could actually start the project, run into an unforeseen circumstance, right, that you need a different electrical sub or something else. It might be $26,000, now the project is completely on hold.
We understand that now, but didn't we, when we approved this motion, we approved quotes that we've gotten from manufacturers and subcontractors?
But we just approved the equipment purchase, right?
This
Not
is
any
equipment. We have not
labor.
approved the contract.
The contracts, that's
The contract price is the only thing that we're
And
The
I agree
labor.
with Commissioner Ford, we ought to be able to approve it up to a dollar amount, a total project dollar amount.
Right.
If the contractors were at 1.4, we might approve up to 1.2 million, and that you don't have to dollar us to death, and you know, time is money. When it has to come before the commission, it creates delays, and those delays can end up costing more money. So I'm not opposed to maybe bringing it to the next meeting with a cap. Is that what you're talking,
That's
Commissioner
pretty
Ford?
much exactly.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put these guys on hold. If they're on a run, let them go.
Right. That's a good point.
You'll answer the legal aspect of that before the next meeting?
Yeah, we'll talk to Charlie, we'll work something out.
And
see
if we
how
have to revise anything in the rules.
Okay, good suggestion.
Thank you, Commissioner Ford.
One thing I'd like to say also, you know, we run through all these items today with a lot of very key projects, and it seems like they're kind of, we go through them quickly, but I want the public to know, if anyone's watching the meeting, there's a lot of thought going into these, and it has to do with increasing the reliability of our system and serving our customers, and that, you know, that's what we're really aiming for here. And when we're, you know, replacing aging pump stations and equipment in there, we're upgrading to UV so that all three of our wastewater treatment plants are doing the same thing, eliminating chlorine and potential danger there. And I would attribute to the staff how they pull this together and present this to us, and it's wonderful to see it going on. And I know it's not only the level here, I know it's people out in the field that are contributing equally to what's going on and what's needed, and it's a very positive thing. And I just want the public to know that even though we ran through it very quickly today, there's a lot behind all this, and we feel like we're moving forward and doing very positive things for the utility and for our customer. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? have
Yeah,
any?
Mr. Chairman, I would ask Director Burrows to give us, as a commission, just a little update on the House bill that him and I have had some individual discussion on regarding potentially some major legislation that would affect water and sewer delivery.
Yes, sir. House Bill 1146 crossed over to the Senate and was presented to the Natural Resources Committee. Essentially what that says is associated with the housing needs in Bryan County with the Hyundai Meta site. Essentially, the Bryan County was unable to provide water capacity for a large development, is what the bill indicates. And a private water company has the ability to provide that service in a more rapid manner. So the House bill that's going through would require water and sewer providers to have available consent to the full, the Senate committee, and was sent to the floor. So always trying to stay in tune with what's going on in Atlanta. Some of these things that looks like they're only for Bryan County or something like that could have impact.
House to Senate at like 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah, it was
on the last day of crossover. The other concern, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the private entity providing the service only has to do it for 5 years, and then they can walk away. So then all of a sudden, then those residents are stuck, and one of us is going to have to step in and provide that service. So I think there's a couple major concerns, so I would encourage all of
It did pass the House. Local private water companies certainly play a role. We're not trying to eliminate private water companies or anything like that. We just want to make sure that a bill that is going through is not going to have wider ramifications than what originally intended.
Any other?
Yeah, I would like to get an update on where we are with the North Glen water treatment plant and the well. Have we got any movement?
System under the interstate from the northeast side. Mr. Klein and I discussed, but we are moving forward, and hopefully we'll have something put out for a design build contract for that plant within the next 3 to 4 months.
Any other things? I just want to commend the staff for getting these projects out, getting them bid. So we've got some construction going on. We've got some more projects coming up. What are the projects coming up and being bid this month?
We had 2 projects that will be due next week or week after. Next Tuesday, the Brunswick Villa water and sewer extensions like we're doing in Arco. On the other side of the railroad tracks from Arco there, the Brunswick Villa neighborhood, it was a workforce housing development in the 40s and 50s. So we're going to be running sewer lines in there. There is some water improvements in the district, but mostly sewer. And then we're also bidding out a trenchless rehab of the 4002 gravity sewer basin, which is the basin south of Gloucester, essentially. So we'll be bidding out about 27,000 linear feet of pipe rehab down there, trenchless pipe rehab.
On the water reports going forward, can we put the number of leaks that we notify the residents on?
Sure.
Because we do for
Yeah, we'll
complaints, so
we'll
can
have
just
to,
put that.
we'll have to start, we
Just
can start
another
tracking that,
column,
yes, sir.
So we'll see how effective our new meters are working.
Yes, we'll certainly do that,
Thank
yes, sir.
Anybody else have anything else? We don't need executive session. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
I read that some people went up to Atlanta, and when they got there, the thing was over by the time they got there. The hearing for the
Yeah,
bill.
yep.
Yeah.
They asked me to go up.
Bring your glasses.
Last night, I went up there at 10 o'clock, I cut that damn well on.